When we first arrived at Purnon, the only water we worried about was the rainwater coming through our roof.
The rain is literally coming in sideways. We're meant to be getting a break from this weather and buckets in the roof.
Our highest priority was to fix the chateau roof and facades. But while we waited for the heritage studies to be completed and the work to begin, we itched for projects that we could start ourselves. Purnon's pool was a horror show. Over the first hot summer, we craved a place that we could escape to. Our first step was to collect building waste from around the estate, tons and tons of broken tiles, bricks and shingles. We could then fix the concrete shell, reline the pool and replace the pump and filtration system. But it remained a somewhat grim and uninviting space. So this year we decided the time had come to reawaken this sanctuary.
Would you like to swim in our pool? No, didn't think so, me either. But let's change that.
Well, what a transformation. And Purnon's pool does beg a few questions. It's obviously not an original 18th century feature of the chateau. So when did the former owners add a pool?
So the pool was added in 1993 by the last Marquis to live here at Purnon. But obviously it's a complex thing adding a modern pool to a historic property. So how did they go about it?
Well, they would have needed the permission of the heritage authorities here in France. And we know this because we have the dossier, we have the documents from when they applied for the permission to put the pool in. And we see a lot of old documents here at Purnon, and these ones certainly show their era because they've been printed on a dot matrix printer. And there were really a lot of different considerations. They weren't allowed to put the pool anywhere on the central axis of the chateau, so anywhere that would have been visible from the Grande Allée or from that central spine that runs through the Cour d'Honneur, through the chateau itself and out into the English Park. And the heritage authorities were very keen to make sure that the pool was not basically visible from the chateau. They also insisted that it be made from a stone that was sympathetic to the other buildings on the estate, and certainly they've done that. They had to protect some of the original buildings that were here. So this small old chicken coop that's off to my left, that had to be retained. It's become the change rooms effectively for the pool. And then over here to my right, we have what they call the locale technique. This is where all of the pump and filtration system was housed. They had to make sure that that building, which is an original 18th century building, was also retained and it couldn't be changed externally in any way. The wall behind us, which we know from looking at some photos from the 1990s, was really quite ruined. It had to be repaired, and it had to be repaired using the same type of galouche stone. And then, of course, the pool itself had to be done in a way where it didn't affect the views from the chateau in any way. And so really that's why it was constructed the way it was. And I guess a question that a lot of people might be asking is, with all the other priorities around the chateau and the other buildings we need to work on, why on earth did we make this a priority?
It's a really great question, actually, and there's two reasons. The first is that when we arrived at Purnon, we weren't able to start any work without the authorisation of our heritage architect and the government authorities. And so our heritage architect needed to do a diagnostic study, and this was an intense process that was going to take 12 months. And so we could start work down here. We didn't need any long process before we could start work. So we started by redoing the liner and reducing the depth of the pool and reinstating the pump and the filtration system and getting the pool up and running so that we could use it. And it still was quite a mess around here. And so this year we've sort of done the second phase of works that have allowed us to create a really beautiful retreat down here and a space to come and hide away from, because it gave us a sanctuary while all the work was happening at the chateau, all the noise and the dust and that activity. It gave us a space where we could retreat to and just have a moment away from all the craziness.
It's certainly that.
But we haven't finished down here. So what are our future plans?
Yeah, we have learned over the last 5 years that this space is a wonderful space to retreat to, but there are some changes that we'd make. And as part of the process for preparing the master plan for the parks and gardens that we've got currently underway at the moment, and we've shared some of that work with you in earlier videos, part of that process includes some plans for the pool area here and how we might improve the landscaping and the perspectives from the pool out into the neighbouring countryside. And we can't wait to share some of those plans with you when we release the master plan for Purnon's Parks and Gardens, which should be later this year or maybe at the start of next year when those plans have been finalised.
Yeah, that's really exciting. And before we move on from chatting about the pool, we have two huge thank yous to make. The first is to my brother Tobias, who you saw working so hard during the springtime. He was here over spring and didn't get the chance to actually see the project through before he returned to Australia. And so, Tobes, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts.
Yeah, he didn't get to swim in the pool, but it's thanks to his work that we can enjoy it this summer.
Yeah, and also also a huge thank you to our friends at Yves Delorme, who have been a huge supporter of the restoration project at Purnon from the very start, actually. And they sent us these lovely towels to really create such a beautiful environment down here. And so Yves Delorme, thank you so much. We are so very grateful.
And for those of you who are new to our journey, we open each year for the Journées du Patrimoine, for the European Heritage Days. That weekend this year is coming up. It's the 19th and the 20th of September. We know that lots of you have already made your travel plans to come and include a visit to Purnon during that weekend, so we're absolutely thrilled about that. For our Patreon members, we have the exclusive Patreon event on the Saturday night, Saturday the 19th of September. For those of you who have signed up as Patreon members, please put in your RSVP if you're going to be here for that event.
And also, it is such a busy weekend and we have been selling out of all our product in our boutique. So this year we have introduced pre-orders, so you can pre-order your product from the boutique and collect it here when you come to visit for the Journées du Patrimoine. There is a link in the description below, and I'll pop a link up here as well. But please remember, these are just pre-orders. If you're attending the Journées du Patrimoine, these are not orders that include shipping. So just if you are on site. And yes, the Château Roof slate drink coasters are a part of those pre-order products. So if you're attending, you can pre-order the drink coasters. And for those of you that are not attending, we know that you are eager to get coasters before Christmas, and we will do our best to put another batch of coasters on sale before Christmas. Otherwise, that's it for us from this week from our sanctuary down at the pool. A bit of a different perspective on life here at Château de Purnon.
No lions down here at the pool.
But as always, we share every step of the restoration of Château de Purnon here on YouTube. If you would like to dive deeper and that is not enough, we share an exclusive weekly video for our Patreon members and YouTube members, plus Patreon access. Otherwise, we share frequent updates on all our social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or just hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and we will keep you updated here. See you next week.